And after they blew the 3-1 lead, what happened on July the 4th that summer? Steph Curry led a contingent in a private plane, and they fly all the way across the country out to the tip of Long Island to visit Kevin Durant. And Steph Curry got down on one knee and said, "You've..."
Okay, Steph. Niggas forget Skip is funny as shit, bro. Niggas forget how funny Skip is, bro.
Lose to Boston in the finals in the closeout game 6. Kobe is horrible in that game, and they lose by 39 points at Boston. I can't defend that. They broke through and beat Dwight Howard's Magic. It was supposed to be LeBron's Cavs. So I thought that was a little overrated. And then even when they did beat Boston and get over the hump, in game 7, Kobe was 6 of 24 in that game. So I don't know. I agree with your big picture, but when I go little picture of playoff performance without Shaq, I'm sorry.
I totally understand what you're saying, and I think Magic was extraordinary. And to be a rookie and start at center in the finals as a point guard, I mean, we've never seen that before. I don't know if we ever will. And yeah, he was terrific. He was splendid. He won his championships. Of course, Kobe got his. And I understand you picking out these individual games and years and teammates and everything. And I think, you can really do that with anyone. And I think it's important to look at the big picture.
Kobe's mystique was bigger than Magic's, but if you look at Magic's productivity, how he changed a culture that both Shaq and Kobe benefited from piggybacking that culture, I'm going slightly Magic over Shaq, Shaq over Kobe.
Okay.
Good job, Jack.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Players with the same team, 18 All-Stars, 15 All-NBA, 12 All-Defense. MVP, 2 Finals MVPs, 5.
That hurts, because once niggas start bringing up MVPs, Kobe's 1 to what Magic's 3, 4, it's like, all right, it start getting spooky. It really do. It just, Kobe did play more years. Okay, let's see if there's anything more interesting. This is fairly interesting.
Those teams, Magic was the greatest winner this side of Michael Jordan. That last go-around,
Michael Jordan is the GOAT and laughably better than LeBron James. Wow.
Of the first stint in Cleveland, it's against the Celtics in the playoffs. It's the conference semifinals. They win big by 22. He's 14 of 22 from the floor. It's game 3. Then we get to 4, 5, and 6, and right on schedule, he just crumbles to the point that he had somebody from his inner circle tell Stephen A. Smith at ESPN, because I was there alongside Stephen A. at that point, that LeBron had to be sedated before games 4, 5, and 6 because he was having some locker room issue with a teammate, Delonte West. Listen, Michael Jordan never...
I mean, it seems like he's talking facts, though. We don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like facts.
...had any issues with locker room teammates because they wouldn't dare to have an issue with...
Didn't he punch Steve Kerr in the face?
Michael Jordan. So the point was he had to be sedated. What a wimp! What a weenie!
Okay.
Is that what we're talking about? And then Dan Gilbert, his owner, a few weeks later, accused LeBron of quitting in those finals. And then do you remember the first go around with the Heat, the 20?
When you do bring up that though, that stuff, like, whether or not it's true, like, the narrative is relevant, in my opinion.
The 11 finals, do you remember the chosen one became the frozen one? I've never seen like it. Michael Jordan never did that. Even when they were starting 1-9, people were scared to death. Nice try. Yeah.
Nice try.
Why is everybody putting up with ads like it's 2010? Like, it's 2025, guys. Just use Pi. This Chrome extension takes...
Let's see if anybody gonna bring up good points.
Hey, good job. You got some quicks, man. I'm impressed.
Because I'm ready to come get you.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna start here with you. You want to discredit talking about 1-9 in the playoffs, and then not even talk about the fact that he couldn't even get to the finals in his first 6, 7 seasons, right? So you prefer somebody not even making it to the finals? That's crazy.
Okay,
You want to
think of
discount
what
it?
he had in the way. He had 2 of the greatest teams ever in the way, and he...
That's true. We do have, bro, all of this is relevant, though. This is relevant talks, bro, because you had the 86 Celtics and you had the late 80s Pistons, 2 of the greatest teams of all time. When you look at who LeBron had to beat to get through the East, it wasn't as steep. Now, you do have those Pistons teams that was really good defensively, especially. Other than that, I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't remember. We could look it up, but I don't remember.
He didn't even have a Robin yet. He was going solo. He didn't have a Scottie
And
Pippen
LeBron did.
yet.
LeBron did first couple years.
Okay, I'll
LeBron
give you
did.
that. I
And
haven't
he
even
made it to the
brought up-
finals. He made it to the finals with
Okay,
a
and-
less roster than Jordan did.
And they got swept
Right.
by the Spurs, and I didn't even bring that up because I give you that one.
So
I'm not going to hold that
so
against
you want to
LeBron.
hold somebody accountable for going to the finals and losing than not going to the finals at all.
Okay.
Right? More money to the city, so many more things accomplished.
Okay, you're missing the plot, bro. This nigga's talking about more money to the city. Like, I don't know, like, if bringing up bread or, like, influence is just the way to go. Because once niggas bring up J's, I feel like, it's a wrap after that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Jumpman, J's, you know what I mean? Air Jordan. Let's stick to basketball.
Less players on the team, right? Then his other final losses, right? You could even talk about the fact that when he went up against the Warriors, he didn't even have a running mate with him either, right? So every time you want to protect
but-
Jordan, I knew you were going to
real
go with
quick.
6-0.
Okay, so he goes up against the Warriors.
Okay.
And I always give him this. Those first 3 games, you remember, because he doesn't have Kevin Love, he was gone already, right? Kyrie fractures his kneecap in overtime of game 1 at Oracle. Remember this? LeBron put up the greatest numbers of his career for 3 straight games. And I'm like, you got this team, because they weren't the Warriors yet. They obviously didn't have KD yet, and they weren't sure who they were. So they're down 2-1, and game 4 is in LeBron's house in Cleveland. And in game 4, he was horrible. He goes 7 of 22. He was 5 of 10 from the free throw line. And I'm like, the next day, I'm telling Stephen A. on ESPN, he had a chance to step on their throats.
Yeah.
It was, remember the Iguodala game where Steve Kerr said, I'm going to switch. I'm going to start Iguodala, and I'm going to put him on LeBron. And LeBron just shrank. He closed up. He had them. If he had stepped on their throats and they'd gone up 3-1, and
She like, hold on, that nigga talking though. Hold on. Bro, first of all, Skip not gonna pull up unprepared. Skip been covering this for 2 decades. LeBron for 2 decades. So he gonna come with the facts. I agree. Bro. I agree with what he's saying. I don't agree that Jordan's better than LeBron. I do agree with the points that he's making though. Cause they was up 2-1, and I don't know, bro.
15 finals, the first one against the Warriors. You got me. That you could make a go case, but instead he shrinks and disappears in games. Here we go again, 4, 5, and 6, right on schedule, and they lose in 6 games. So he couldn't close deals. All the great clutch shots that Jordan made, they closed deals. LeBron's made a few clutch shots, but they never mattered. They were never meaningful. They never ended series or games or championships.
No, you see, that's where you're trying to pick and choose, right? You want to talk about clutch games, but then you don't want to talk about how he's dragged so many teams to the finals, right? And
Did
he's
he
the one
drag
who's,
the
and
Heat
he's
to
the
the
one
finals?
and he's the one hitting the game-winning shots, right? The same way he took Toronto out, right? The amount of times he did that countless times, you don't want to talk about that.
Well, I will.
You want to only talk about when Jordan does it in the finals, as if Jordan's career was only 6 years. He's 6
Okay.
on the finals, but his career isn't 6 years.
No.
He had 6 to 7 years before that,
Yeah.
and then he had another 2 years in the Washington Wizards at 40 years old. We don't want to talk about LeBron at 40 now.
Okay, I
They
don't.
literally tried to
they were
drag him
like-
out
I don't.
the court. Gilbert Arenas talked about how they literally was ready to hand him the keys and get Jordan out of there by 40.
They were
he was
2
a cancer.
ceremonial years. He wasn't a cancer.
Yeah,
he
was
was
a cancer.
running the show. He was going to be the GM and the head coach
Yeah, they
and
were horrible.
the fading superstar.
So,
he
those
averaged.
years don't count then.
Okay,
That's the way it sounds like
the
to me.
last 2 years I don't count.
That's crazy.
Okay,
So,
he
but then you
took-
want
That is crazy.
to count everything about
wait.
LeBron. You want to count everything about LeBron, but then
Okay.
take some years out.
He took 3 years off. He retired because they ran his coach out the back door in Chicago,
whose
and he
fault is
said,
that?
"I'm out." Well, it was a season game, okay? And he hit it, and I'm like, "Way to go!" I stood up and gave him a standing ovation. And then he hit the shot heard round the world against Orlando in Game 2 at Cleveland. You'll remember this.
This nigga got the fucking facts. He got a lot of facts.
In the year that they ended up losing to the Magic when
True.
okay.
But the game is more than just game-winning shots. You know that, right?
No,
Right now
I know
you're going
that,
down
but-
a rabbit hole if
okay.
you want to talk about like clutch shots, end
Okay,
of game.
but-
But,
but
there's
this-
47 minutes before
Okay,
that you
I
got to play.
understand that,
Which
but
LeBron
here's the
is,
point.
Go ahead.
LeBron was born without a clutch gene. It's a
Can we get somebody else up here?
Hey, Steph Curry, if he wins a 5th championship, which he will, which is why I'm saying Steph's the GOAT, If he wins that 5th title, he is the greatest of all time.
Okay. Do you realize?
I definitely disagree. LeBron is. We got a real argument with LeBron. Steph Curry, we don't have a real argument. Steph is probably as good or as impactful as Michael Jordan offensively, and then defensively is just night and day. Like, LeBron can score almost as good as Jordan, or like put up as many points as Jordan, but then his playmaking is night and day ahead. And then his defense is still elite all time. So you have that argument. He has the longevity. He has the all-time records. He has, all-time points and, all-time assists, top 5. And, he has the MVPs to back it up to closely match Jordan. Steph Curry, this is not a real argument, in my opinion. This is just, like, fake. I literally just watched the Clippers play the Warriors, and Curry was on the bench for defense. With 10 seconds left in the game, they put Curry on the bench. We can't have, in my opinion, we can't say he's better than Michael Jordan. That's just like, I ain't gonna lie, that's OD. Curry is running for his life, hedging on defense because he don't want the switch. We can't have these conversations of him being better than Michael Jordan or LeBron. I really don't care what nobody say. Can't have that conversation.
That Steph Curry and company had a 3-1 lead on LeBron without there's no Kevin Durant involved here, right? It's just Steph. So I think you would agree that was Steph's team, right?
It was
there's
a tough
Clay and there's
performance.
Draymond, and we get all that. But it's Steph Curry or bust to me.
Game 5.
Because
Draymond Green.
You've got he's gone. So you don't
Why?
have
Because LeBron made him gone.
If Steph is the GOAT, he's got 2 out of 3 at home to close the deal. All he's got to do is win 1 of 3, and 2 out of the 3 are at Oracle.
Yep.
And he can't pull it off because he's not that guy. He's not the GOAT. And what happened in Game 7 at Oracle? Remember LeBron's chase down block? Remember this?
Yep,
And
my heart
Kyrie
sank.
hits the game-winning
I
shot.
bet your heart did sing.
In the 4th quarter of that game, Steph Curry went 1 of 6, and he went 1 of 4 from 3. Well, I'm sorry, 1 of 5 from 3, and he had a terrible turnover with 2 minutes left where he tried to throw it behind his back and threw it in the 5th row, and it was a key turning point in that game. And without Steph disappearing in the 4th quarter, LeBron and Kyrie cannot do what they ended up doing. And after they blew the 3-1 lead, what happened on July the 4th that summer? Steph Curry led a contingent in a private plane, and they fly all the way across the country out to the tip of Long Island to visit Kevin Durant. And Steph Curry got down on one knee and said,
Okay, Steph. Niggas forget Skip is funny as shit, bro. Niggas forget how funny Skip is, bro.
to come save us. You, Kevin
Niggas
Durant,
forget how
have to
funny
come
this
save
man
us
is,
because
bro.
We can't beat LeBron James without you.
I understand.
Okay,
I understand that.
So you're disqualified as the GOAT. If you have to go beg somebody
You're not
to come save
disqualified
you.
because LeBron James, everyone
Okay.
here is talking about LeBron as the GOAT, and he did a very similar thing. When you look at Steph Curry and his greatness, I get that he choked in that moment. The 3-1 lead, you're never going to be able to beat that. But what he did in 22 against the Celtics and what he's doing now, you love Tom Brady. His best years are ahead of him, and I'm predicting that right
Really?
now.
Okay.
Yes, 1,000%.
Well,
I think
I mean-
That's false.
the next 5 years of Steph.
You're making a prediction. So come back in 5 years and then we can talk. Let's get out of here,
Curry?
bro.
Who did LeBron have as a head coach during that time?
It's a LeBrick, and it's a long rebound out, and it's Chris Bosh goes out and
Damn, Skip. Damn, Skip. Like, you really fucked it up with Shannon, bro. Y'all had something good, bro. Why you had to do the most, bro? You know what I mean? Skip could have, you know what I mean? Like, damn, Skip.
tracks it down and kicks
To
it in the
call someone
corner.
LeBrick while having the most points ever is wild. Now, I know
Okay.
you're a Jordan guy. It pained me to say that Jordan's been swept 3 times in the first round because I'm a Jordan guy too. But to laughably say that LeBron and Jordan aren't even in the same conversation, that's wild. It's a discredit to basketball.
I know you watched
it's
this.
insane.
How about the Western Conference Finals just 2 years ago against Denver? Okay, so the Lakers won.
This is when LeBron's 38, by the way. We don't want to talk about what Jordan did at 38, but let's just add that caveat.
End up getting swept, but 4 straight times they go to the 4th quarter right there. It's a winnable game for LeBron and company. First 2 are in Denver, second 2 at home. If you combine his shooting stats for the 4 fourth quarters, he's 7 of 23. That's horrible. That's how you lose games. And he was 1 of 10 from 3 in those 4 combined fourth quarters. And in the closeout game, at, as I call it, the crypt here in Los Angeles. In the final seconds of the game, LeBron gets 2 shots to tie the game, 2 two-point shots, and neither of them he gets up to the rim. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? You're better than that. And yet the blind witnesses say, oh, we didn't see that. We don't want to hear about that. So we fast forward one more year, because last year in the playoffs, they get Denver again, but this time it's in the first round. Walk-off shot jumper over Craig Elo, and it became iconic. We all see it. You can just call it up on YouTube right now and look at the highlight, look at his celebration. It won the series, okay, his first playoff series. And then, obviously, I was there on press row, courtside, Game 6 at Utah. Little subtle push-off Brian Russell against the Jazz, and he hangs and holds the pose just beyond the free throw line and rips it, and it's a walk-off. Stockton got some heave at the buzzer, but it was a walk-off. It won the championship. It won Game 6. It closed them out. All of his shots had magnitude. Jordan, but then I look at LeBron, and all of his walk-offs, and I'm giving him that little tip in the other day. Okay.
It is a buzzer beater. It's like a auraless buzzer beater. You know what I mean? It's an auraless buzzer beater, which is cool. But that 2018, bruh, series over against Indiana. Series basically over against Toronto. I think it was Game 3. He had like 5 game winners. Who did he? I think he might have had 2 against Toronto. He had 2 big threes against the Celtics that year to close out the game after Jason Tatum dunked on him, and then he step back 3. I forget the other one. I forget all his moments, but yeah, 2018 was a great year for LeBron for sure.
So let's call it 7 walk-off shots. They didn't matter.
They're letting Skip control the conversation too much, right? Skip is leaning towards clutch shots, fourth quarter. That's what he's leaning towards. Okay, cool, we get it. You have to change the conversation. Okay, what makes somebody the greatest player of all time? What did they accomplish while they played, right? LeBron is, first of all, he's number 1 all time in points, right? That is, points is the greatest accolade in basketball. There is no greater attribute to the game than scoring. You could be a great scorer and suck at everything else and make an all-star team, right? So number 1 all time in points, number 4 or 5 all time in assists. Right, he's probably gonna reach. He might pass. He's probably gonna pass Chris Paul. So number 4 or 5 in assists, top 10 in rebounds. When you look at all that he's accomplished, right, the counting stats, right, you have counting stats, right. Then you have championships. Then you have accolades, and then you have impact. Then you have longevity. Longevity, we don't need to talk about longevity. Counting stats, we don't need to talk about counting stats. Now accolades, right. Jordan has more MVPs, which you can argue they both should have more MVPs. I think, we can call that, whatever you want to call it. MJ has 1 more MVP. MJ has a Defensive Player of the Year, which that Defensive Player of the Year, niggas have the gig is up on that. Niggas have already admitted to adding stat padding steals and shit like that. So I'm not really interested in that. Fundamentals of the game, I do think that Jordan is just a fundamentally better basketball player in terms of skills. LeBron has the IQ though. Jordan does not have anywhere near the IQ that LeBron has, so I think that's pretty even there. And then, right, Jordan has the championships. He has 2 of the 3 three-peats in NBA history outside of Bill Russell, so that's super huge. LeBron has a 3-1 comeback, but Jordan has a 72-10, So I think they both accomplished a lot, obviously, but when you look at the longevity, you look at the counting stats, and then you look at the accolades are not that far off. I mean, what Jordan has in 1 MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year and all defensive teams, I think LeBron makes up for in all NBAs and in all-star appearances personally. Jordan probably has a little bit of an edge with the 1 extra MVP, but LeBron's still playing, so he's gonna get more all NBA. LeBron's gonna make an all NBA this year. He's gonna make an all-star team next year. So he's gonna just widen the gap on the all-time scoring list. He's going to be 10,000 points. It's like for somebody to be 10,000 points ahead of you, but for me to say I'm a better scorer, that's just such an interesting feat. We know it's because of longevity primarily, but it's just that's crazy. So when you look at all things, now Jordan does have better moments. Jordan does have a better legacy. And maybe you could say that makes him the GOAT. The three-peats, the shots, the double, the double three-peats, the no game sevens, the 6-0 in the finals. I do think that adds to the allure of Michael Jordan and make him look kind of flawless in a way that he's really not. But I think LeBron has just accomplished more. It's just Jordan's resume is just like more aesthetically pleasing. It's like a resume that just looks clean versus a resume that's like kind of has some misspelling. But when you look at the content in the resume, this resume got more stuff to it. Just this resume just looked perfect. You feel what I'm saying? So
They didn't get you anywhere. There are 3 in the playoffs, and they're pretty good. But what do they say about the blind squirrel? He finds an acorn every once in a while. If you're going to play 71,000 minutes, you're going to hit a few walk-offs here and there when you play that much longer than Michael Jordan did. Way to go. Good job. Thank you. All of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes drops back, and there's a rusher in his face, and he basically...
Patrick Mahomes is dramatically overrated. I don't really care about that. We still talking about this? Is this the last one? Bill Belichick is overrated. The Patriot dynasty was 80% Tom Brady. I don't really care about that.
Smart and impassioned case for Kobe Bryant, and I appreciated it. So I'm going to go Will.
What's the topic?
I need to go back to the LeBron as the GOAT.
Okay, give me something good though. Like lay it out plainly, bro, because Skip is controlling the argument. Y'all getting dog walked. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. So I wanted to say that the only thing that Michael Jordan has better than LeBron James is better shoes and a better Space Jam movie. Other than that,
no, that's not a debate. Ain't nobody debating that. That's clear cut.
We definitely had a better Space Jam movie.
we could agree on that. We could agree on that for sure.
Money.
But I want to go back to the beginning of the career, right? LeBron was known as the chosen one. He was drafted at 18, fresh out of prom, expected to save a franchise. What did he walk into? That
was all-time stupid, right? Was it not?
But
Sam
I'm saying,
Bowie?
Yeah. Behind Hakeem Olajuwon and Sam Bowie.
I'll give you Hakeem, but I'm taking Jordan over Hakeem.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess. All right. Is he gonna say anything like?
It's something that has never been done before, right?
I'm not feeling his vibe. I ain't gonna lie. Let's get out.